in one ear heat.
That's okay. We're used to that.
One can't spell.
Better mute myself.
We might have to do something about the person who's cutting their grass outside. Is it interfering with anybody? Can you hear us all very well? That's fine. It's not actually in the garden, but is that man next door who does it every other day?
It will be.
I do mine about twice a year.
Well, he used to be a greenkeeper at Wentworth, and he's very proud. I laughed at him one day. He won't mind you telling you this. I looked out the bedroom window, and he was sitting on the grass in the back garden, and they've got little stepping stones. You know what I mean? And he had a pair of scissors, and he was doing very trim beautifully around these stepping stones. Wow! Needless to say, there were some comments made. It's hilarious. No,
I'm
that's
just
something I've never seen before, Elaine. Why have you got
a man that does it every day.
I don't know.
I have never seen that before.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I can't get rid of it.
Well, I do not know what that means.
Elaine, can you go into your reactions?
Oh, it's on there, isn't it?
I think so.
What does that
Yeah.
mean?
How do I get it? Oh,
That's a click on the same thing as you must have done accidentally in the first place.
Yeah, I see it. No. Oh, it's like if you're polling or answering a question.
Yeah.
Well, do you know?
Try clicking on the no and see if that takes it away.
I'm into all the smileys and everything now. So.
Have you not got the little things underneath it? The clapping hands, thumbs up.
I did have, but I seem to have lost them now.
Try hovering your pointer, whatever you're using to point with.
Above raised hand, there's a tick and a cross and a forward, fast forward.
Yes, I've gone. Somehow it's gone beyond those, though.
No.
Well, you need to try. I don't know. I haven't got any.
It's obviously still working apart from that, so just ignore the fact that
I was going to say it doesn't matter, does it?
it's a bit like the sign of the plague, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to, in that case, I'm going to mute and everything and work through Ian's computer from now on, because that's the safest way to make sure we don't have any feedback.
Okay, I've now turned on my sound. So can you all hear me?
Hopefully.
You're sounding tinny, Ian. You've got an echo. Are you in a lounge
No,
room?
he hasn't, not anybody. Well, I don't think he has. I had to turn my speakers off, which I've now done.
So maybe I shouldn't be sounding tinny anymore.
Don't sound tinny to me, Ian.
Right, that's fine, thank you. Well,
It's maybe my tinnitus that's causing that then.
Oh, boom, boom. Okay, well, welcome everyone. And as usual, I have a 6-round quiz for you tonight. And I'll introduce each round as we go along. But first of all, I shall share my screen. Oh, I don't want that bit. And I'll put it on the slideshow from the beginning. There we are, ready to go. So, I'm getting feedback from somewhere.
I'll deal with that. Right, take it.
Fixed?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, so round one tonight, as you know, I usually find some way of going around these islands, and this time it's islands around these islands. These islands, of course, being Great Britain and Ireland. So, question one, round one, as usual, 10 questions per round. Round one, question one. On which island did Robert Baden-Powell hold the camp in 1907 that led to the foundation of the Scout movement? I'll tell you, it's quite a varied quiz tonight. Round two is all about quirks in language. Round three is a picture round on animals. Round four is on TV sitcoms. Round five is on the 20th century. And then round six is, as usual, general knowledge. But there's question one. On which island did Robert Baden-Powell hold the camp in 1907 that led to the foundation of the Scout movement? Number 2. I will arise and go now, wrote the poet W.B. Yeats. To which island did he say he would go? I will arise and go now, wrote the poet W.B. Yeats. To which island did he say he would go? Question 3. According to legend, which Welsh island, nicknamed the Island of 20,000 Saints, is the site of the burial of the wizard Merlin? According to legend, which Welsh island, nicknamed the Island of 20,000 Saints, is the site of the burial of the wizard Merlin? Number 4. During World War II, the British government used the Scottish island of Greenyard as a test site for biological warfare, using which bacterial agent? During World War II, the British government used the Scottish island of Greenyard as a test site for biological warfare, using which bacterial agent? Is number 4. Number 5. In 1986, a peace treaty was signed between the Netherlands and which islands, ending a state of war that had existed for 355 years without a single casualty, or indeed a single shot being fired? In 1986, a peace treaty was signed between the Netherlands and which islands, ending a state of war that had existed for 355 years without a single casualty? Number 6. On which island did the racing driver Nigel Mansell act as a special constable for 11 years? On which island did the racing driver Nigel Mansell act as a special constable for 11 years? Number 7. Which Scottish island is the destination of the traveller in the song Westering Home? Number 7, which Scottish island is the destination of the traveller in the song Westering Home? Number 8, in 1306, following his defeat at the Battle of Medevin, Robert the Bruce went into exile. The legend of the spider relating to this period. That incident is said to have taken place in a cave on which Irish island? He's said to have watched a spider attempting 6 times to get its web from one place to another and managing it on the 6th occasion, and this influenced him to go back and try again in his battle for Scotland. So in 1306, following his defeat at the Battle of Medevin, Robert the Bruce went into exile. The legend of the spider relating to this period. That incident is said to have taken place in a cave on which Irish island? Number 9. On which island is RAF Mona used during World War I as a base for airships which monitored U-boat activity in the Irish Sea? On which island is RAF Mona used during World War I as a base for airships which monitored U-boat activity in the Irish Sea? And number 10. Which island issues postage stamps in denominations called puffins? Instead of pounds and pence, which island issues postage stamps in denominations called puffins? And as usual, if anyone would like to see and hear a question again, just let me know. And I'm actually going to marginally correct something in number 5. Actually, that stated, when I think back to the origins of it and do the arithmetic, the website from which I got this information may have had it slightly wrong. The state of war probably existed for 335 years, not 355, because it dates back to the Civil War period, and that wouldn't work with 1986 and 355. It should really be 335. Not that it's going to help you a lot, but there you go. Right. Anyone want to have any question repeated? Are we ready for the answers then?
No, can we have 9 again, please?
Yeah, absolutely. On which island is RAF Mona used during World War I as a base for airships which monitored U-boat activity in the Irish Sea? Think of the geography of the Irish Sea and that may help you. So do we want it? Are we ready for the answers? Does anyone want more time? With no one asking for more time, I'll assume that we're ready. Okay, answers are as follows. Number 1, Robert Baden-Powell held that camp on Brownsea Island. Number 2, W.B. Yeats said, I will arise and go now to the Isle of Innisfree. Number 3, according to legend, the Welsh island, it's a name not unlike the first one, is Bardsey Island, B-A-R-D-S-E-Y. Number 4, Grignard was used as a test site for anthrax. Number 5, the peace treaty was signed between the Netherlands and the Scilly Isles, dating a state of war that had existed. I think it should really read for 335 years because it dates back to the English Civil War. And number 6, Nigel Mansell was a special constable on the Isle of Man for 11 years. Number 7, the Scottish island that's the destination of the traveller in Westering Home is Islay, or Islay for those who don't speak Scottish. Number 8, Robert the Bruce is believed to have taken refuge in the cave on Rathlin Island in Ireland. Number 9, RAF Mona is on Anglesey. And number 10, the island that uses postage stamps in denominations called puffins is Lundy Island. When you are ready, could you please use the chat to send your answer, your total score only to Linda? That's 4 teams have done that so far. Who do we still need?
Oh, we still need Paisley
And Willerton.
and Willerton. Have we got Willerton here? Actually, thinking about it.
Well, maybe they're not here.
We may have put someone else. I'm sure it'll come through. Sorry, not.
Okay, still waiting for Paisley, but Linda's sure it'll come through. It's arrived.
Yeah.
So I shall move on to round 2, which is called Quirks of Language. And I must confess there's a bit of self-indulgence in this because I've written this round specifically because I loved the question in question 1 and wanted an excuse to have it in the quiz. So here it is. In 1954, the American writer Sylvia Wright coined a word to describe the often humorous mishearing of a lyric, based on her own mishearing of a line in the Scottish ballad The Bonnie Earl of Moray when her mother read it to her. What term did she invent? In 1954, the American writer Sylvia Wright coined a word to describe the often humorous mishearing of a lyric, based on her own mishearing of a line in the Scottish ballad The Bonnie Earl of Moray when her mother read it to her. What term did she invent? Number 2. Latin phrase festina lente, which translates as hasten slowly, is an example of which figure of speech? The Latin phrase festina lente, which translates as hasten slowly, is an example of which figure of speech? Number 3. What term describes 2 words, excuse me, that are spelled identically but which have different meanings and sometimes different pronunciations? For example, lead, the metal, or lead, as in the verb meaning to guide. Identical spellings, but completely different meanings. What term describes 2 words that are spelled identically, but which have different meanings? Number 4, not unrelated. Heel, H-E-E-L, and heel, H-E-A-L, are examples of words that are spelled differently but are pronounced the same. What term describes words such as these? Different spelling, same pronunciation. So heel and heel are examples of words that are spelled differently but are pronounced the same. What term describes words such as these? Number 5. In Thomas Brinsley Sheridan's play The Rivals, a character often used the wrong word to comic effect. For example, she said, "He is the very pineapple of politeness," when meaning pinnacle of politeness. Who was the character who has given her name to such slips of the tongue? In Thomas Brinsley Sheridan's play The Rivals, a character often used the wrong word to comic effect. For example, she said, "He is the very pineapple of politeness," when meaning pinnacle. Who was the character who has given her name to such slips of the tongue? And number 6, not unrelated. Sorry, this is, yeah, it is this one. It's not unrelated. In 2001, George W. Bush said, if the terriers and Bariffs are torn down, this economy will grow. Named after an Oxford Don, what name is used to describe this reversal of syllables between words? In 2001, George W. Bush said, if the terriers and Bariffs are torn down, this economy will grow. Named after an Oxford Don, what name is used to describe this reversal of syllables between words? Number 7. What bodily function does the word nictation describe? What bodily function does the word nictation describe? Number 8. In which trade did the phrase strike while the iron is hot originate? Number 8, in which trade did the phrase strike while the iron is hot originate? Number 9. In English, what is the only number that contains the same number of letters as its numerical value? I say in English because no doubt in French, German, Spanish, and Italian there are other answers to this. But in English, what is the only number that contains the same number of letters as its numerical value when it's spelled out? And number 10, Richard of York gave battle in vain as a means of remembering the colours of the rainbow. What word describes this memory aid? Number 10, Richard of York gave battle in vain as a means of remembering the colours of the rainbow. What word describes this memory aid? And again, if you would like a question repeated, just let me know the number.
Might be a good idea to ask about speed as well.
Can we get 3, please, Ian?
Yep. There you go. Sperm describes 2 words that are spelled identically, but which have different meanings, like lead and lead.
Ian, can we see number 1 again, please?
Certainly. In 1954, the American writer Sylvia Wright coined a word to describe the often humorous mishearing of a lyric, based on her own mishearing of a line in the Scottish ballad The Bonnie Earl of Murray when her mother read it to her. What term did she invent? Can I just check the pacing? Is it okay between questions so far? Anyone got a problem with it? Well, Anne's got no problem with it. She's nodding her head. So Does anyone want more time, or are we ready for the answers? If you want more time, let me know. Otherwise, I'll assume that we're okay. Okay, we seem to be ready. Excuse me. So, the word that Sylvia Wright coined was mondegreen, M-O-N-D-E-G-R-E-E-N. And the origin of that is in the Bonnie Earl of Murray. The line actually reads, "They have slain the Earl of Murray and laid him on the green." But she heard her mother's version of it to read, "They have slain the Earl of Murray and Lady Mondegreen." And she wondered who this Lady Mondegreen was that had been slain along with the Earl of Murray. So she invented the word mondegreen to describe that kind of mishearing, and it's still in use today. Number 2, that's an oxymoron. Festina lente, hence and slowly, is an oxymoron. Number 3, the 2 words spelled identically but with different meanings is homonym. And number 4, here are examples of words that are spelled differently but pronounced the same, and the term describing these is homophone. Number 5, the character who used the wrong word to comic effect was Mrs. Malaprop. The practice is known as malapropism. So Mrs. Malaprop is the answer there. And here it was Dr. Spooner. So it's Spoonerism. That's the reversal of syllables between words. Number 7, nictation describes the act of blinking. Number 8, strike while the iron is hot, comes from the blacksmith's trade. Number 9, the number that contains the same number of letters as its numerical value is 4. And number 10, we have a mnemonic, M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C. A mnemonic describes that kind of memory aid. So once again, if you could send your results to Linda.
Ian, I'm sure you'll accept forging for number 8.
Sorry?
Forging for number 8. Blacksmith.
Yeah, of course, it's the same kind of thing, yeah.
Thanks.
Forging instead of blacksmith. It comes to the same thing. It's the process rather than the person who's doing the process. Okay, we have all the scores, and after the next round, I'll ask Linda to put the scores to date up on to share her screen with you instead. Round 3 is the animal kingdom, and in this round, I'll show you pictures of various animals with specific questions about each. So, number 1, which island group was the home of this now extinct creature? Which island group was the home of this now extinct creature? Number 2, a project in South Africa is trying to recreate a species of this animal which was hunted to extinction in the 19th century. Which animal is it? A project in South Africa is trying to recreate a species of this animal which was hunted to extinction in the 19th century. Which animal is it? Number 3. The name of this North American creature derives from the size of its feet. What is its name? The name of this North American creature derives from the size of its feet. What is its name? Number 4. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, in breeding, a pair of these animals may mate 100 times a day. Which animal is it? Now, I'm going to actually give you a clue that it's not something. It's not a leopard. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, when breeding, a pair of these animals may mate 100 times a day. Which animal is it? Perhaps I should say, which exhausted animal is it? Number 5. Which continent is this member of the monkey family native? To which continent is this member of the monkey family native? Number 6. This animal is named after a being from Greek mythology, which was half woman and half serpent. It is one of only 5 members of a subspecies of mammals called monotremes. What is it? This animal is named after a being from Greek mythology, which was half woman and half serpent. It is one of only 5 members of a subspecies of mammals called monotremes. What is it? Number 7. There is a persistent myth about these creatures arising from a misunderstanding of their migratory habits. What is the myth? There is a persistent myth about these creatures arising from a misunderstanding of their migratory habits. What is the myth? Number 8. One of these animals featured as the hero of a short story in the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. What was the hero's name in the story? One of these animals featured as the hero of a short story in the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. What was the hero's name in the story? Number 9. Which poem did the death of one of these birds provide the basis for the narrative? In which poem did the death of one of these birds provide the basis for the narrative? And number 10, it is the only member of the family Ailuridae. Its home is in the Himalayas and some areas of China. What is its common name? This is the only member of the family Ailuridae. Its home is in the Himalayas and some areas of China. What is its common name? Once again, if you would like any question to see any question again, let me know and I'll go back to it.
At this point or after the next round?
This point.
Okay. No, thank
What I'll do is
Ian, can we have another look at number 3, please?
you can. The name of this North American creature derives from the size of its feet. What is its name?
I'm ready.
I'm going to stop sharing just now, and while you're thinking of your answers or still thinking about your answers, I'm going to invite Linda to share the scores for rounds 1 and 2 with you. So I'll stop my share for the moment. As usual, when you see the scores on the spreadsheet, please check to make sure that yours have been recorded accurately. Airheads full marks, Guildford 17, West of Eden 16, couple on 14, and then 12, 10 and 9. Okay, thanks, Linda. And I'll reshare my screen. Right, if we're ready for the answers, I'll give you them now. The island group that was the home of this now extinct creature, i.e. the dodo, was Mauritius. Number 2, the animal that they're trying to recreate a species of in South Africa is the quagga. Or quagga, I'm not quite sure which is the more approved pronunciation. Number 3, this is a snowshoe hare in North America because it's got big feet like snowshoes. Number 4, this is a jaguar. Number 5, this is a marmoset, which is a native of South America. Number 6, this animal is the echidna, relative of the platypus, and of course, like the platypus, it comes from Australia. Monotremes being mammals which actually lay eggs. Number 7, this cute little creature is a lemming, and the myth, of course, is mass suicide during their migrations. Though the myth appears to have originated in a film made by the Disney company in the 1950s.
Great computer game too.
Yes, well known as a computer game, yes. Number 8, the hero's name in this, well, it is a mongoose, and it was Rikki Tikki Tavi. Number 9, the albatross shown here was the basis for the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Coleridge. And number 10, this is a red panda. So again, if you could send Linda your scores when you've added them up.
Just waiting on one. I'm sure it'll come through in a minute.
Okay, then I'll move on to round 4, which is television sitcoms. Question 1, which 1990s US series is often called a show about nothing, a phrase that was incorporated into several episodes in series 4? It almost made a virtue of being a show about nothing. Which 1990s US series is often called a show about nothing? A phrase that was incorporated into several episodes in series 4. Question 2. In Last of the Summer Wine, which character was the junk shop owner with an extraordinary ability to sell people things they neither needed nor wanted? What was the name of the character? In Last of the Summer Wine, which character was the junk shop owner with an extraordinary ability to sell people things they neither needed nor wanted? Played by the former Coronation Street actress Jean Alexander. Number 3.
Problem is, Ian, it's on every night on the drama channel now.
I haven't been watching that, but there you go. That'll maybe help some people then. Number 3, which actor starred in the 1970s shows Man About the House and Robin's Nest, as well as playing Dick Turpin in a series from 1979 to to 1982. Still haven't got the Nell score, have you? Send them a chat message. So number 3, which actor starred in the 1970s shows Man About the House and Robin's Nest, as well as playing Dick Turpin in a series from 1979 to 1982? Number 4, the series Doctor in the House, Doctor in Charge, and several other Doctor series were based on the novels by which author? The first of which was actually called Doctor in the House, was published in 1952, was originally a film starring Dirk Bogarde in that particular title role, but not in the television series. The series Doctor in the House, Doctor in Charge, and several other Doctor series were based on the novels by which author? Number 5. The series Friends was set in which borough of New York? Number 5, the series Friends was set in which borough of New York? Number 6, what was the name of the holiday camp in Heidi High? Number 6, what was the name of the holiday camp in Heidi High? Number 7, what you talking about, Willis, was a popular catchphrase in which American program that ran from 1978 to 1986? Number 7, what you talking about, Willis, was a popular catchphrase in which American program that ran from 1978 to 1986? Number 8, when Donna Estelle and Windsor Davies took the old song Whispering Grass to number 1 in the charts in 1975, they sang it as their characters in which sitcom? Perhaps in Windsor Davies' case, the word sang is not quite appropriate, but never mind. So when Donna Estelle and Windsor Davies took the old song Whispering Grass to number 1 in the charts in 1975, they sang it as their characters in which sitcom? Number 9, the waiter Manuel from Fawlty Towers said to come from which Spanish city? Waiter Manuel from Faulty Towers was said to come from which Spanish city? And number 10, on what fictional island was Father Ted set? On what fictional island was Father Ted set? If you want to hear any of them again, let me know. Are we ready for the answers then? People reasonably comfortable?
Yeah, could I have 7 again, please, Ian?
Yeah, certainly. 7. What you talking about, Willis, was a popular catchphrase in which American program that ran from 1978 to 1986? Are we ready for the answers? Again, I'll leave it a moment or two, and if nobody says anything, I'll assume we're ready. Okay, I think we're ready. So the answers are as follows. Number 1, this US series, A Show About Nothing, is Seinfeld. Number 2, the junk shop owner with this extraordinary ability was the redoubtable Auntie Wainwright. Number 3, Richard O'Sullivan starred in these shows. Number 4, there's another Richard. Richard Gordon was the name of the author of the Doctor series. Number 5, Friends was set in the borough of Manhattan. Number 6, the holiday camp in Heidi High, a distorted version of Butlins, was Maplins. Number 7, What You Talking About, Willis, came from the program Different Strokes. Number 8, Donna Sterling Windsor Davis were starring in It Ain't Half Hot Mum. Manuel was alleged to have come from Barcelona. And Father Ted was set on Raggy Island. Once more, if you could send Linda your scores, please.
I don't have a score for Dan Elm in the previous round as well.
Could Danelle also please send Linda their score from the previous round?
It's quite funny when Faulty Towers was shown in Spain, Manuel was supposed to be Italian.
Oh, well, given the fact that Andrew Sachs was neither Spanish nor Italian, maybe that makes some sense.
Did you ask about Dan Elm? So.
Danelle, we still don't have your score for round 3. Linda now has your score for round 4, but not round 3. Could you send in your round 3 score, please?
I might have missed it, but I've looked back, not seen it.
Well, if you have sent it, could you send it again? Meanwhile, I'll move on to round 5, the 20th century. And I've contrived to do a whole round of the 20th century without the word war being involved in either a question or an answer. So here we go with the 20th century. First of all, live television broadcasting of the British Parliament began with a debate in the House of Lords in January of which year? And I'm going to allow you a plus or minus 2 leeway in this one. Live television broadcasting of the British Parliament began with a debate in the House of Lords in January of which year? Number 2, before it became associated with Margaret Thatcher, the phrase the Iron Lady was applied to which overseas Prime Minister? Before it became associated with Margaret Thatcher, the phrase the Iron Lady was applied to which overseas Prime Minister? Number 3. In January 1905, Father Georgi Gapon led a demonstration that led to the army firing on the demonstrators and to the day becoming known as Bloody Sunday. In which city did these events take place? And do note the year is 1905. It is not a reference to something that happened in the 1970s. In January 1905, Father Georgi Gapon led a demonstration that led to the army firing on the demonstrators and to the day becoming known as Bloody Sunday. In which city did these events take place? Number 4. Although there were earlier patents than the one awarded to her in 1903, Mary Anderson from Alabama is usually credited with the invention of the first operational version of which essential feature of a motor vehicle? Although there were earlier patents than the one awarded to her in 1903, Mary Anderson from Alabama is usually credited with the invention of the first operational version of which essential feature of a motor vehicle? Number 5. The atomium model of an iron crystal, which is 102 meters tall, was built as an exhibit for the World's Fair known as Expo 58 in 1958. Now a museum. In which city is it located? The atomium, a model of an iron crystal which is 102 meters tall, was built as an exhibit for the World's Fair known as Expo 58. Now a museum. In which city is it located? Number 6. In July 1976, Operation Thunderbolt was an operation by commanders of the Israeli Defense Forces to rescue hostages of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine at Entebbe Airport. In which country? In July 1976, Operation Thunderbolt was an operation by commandos of the Israeli Defense Forces to rescue hostages of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine at Entebbe Airport. In which country? And as you can see, I'm having a slight interruption here. A cat has decided to intervene. Number 7. What contribution to Nazi Germany did Leni Riefenstahl make in the 1930s? What contribution to Nazi Germany did Leni Riefenstahl make in the 1930s? Number 8, on the 12th of February 1994, the same day as the opening of the Winter Olympics at Lillehammer in Norway, which famous painting was stolen from the National Gallery in the country's capital, Oslo? On 12th February 1994, the same day as the opening of the Winter Olympics at Lillehammer in Norway, which famous painting was stolen from the National Gallery in the country's capital, Oslo? Hello, Sophie. Number 9, the Lateran Treaty of 1929 made which small city-state independent? Where are you going to go now?
Anywhere to get in your way.
The Lateran Treaty of 1929 made which small city-state independent? Just as long as you stand on the keyboard, I'm all right. And number 10, by what single word name was Josip Broz known? He was president of an Eastern European country from 1953 until his death in 1980. By what single word name was Josip Broz known? He was president of an Eastern European country from 1953 until his death in 1980. Again, if anyone would like to hear a question again, let me know which one and I'll go back to it.
Oh, Ian, can you say 7 again, please?
Absolutely. What contribution to Nazi Germany did Leni Riefenstahl make in the 1930s?
Give.
Again. Ian, number 4 again, please.
Number 4. Although there were earlier patents than the one awarded to her in 1903, Mary Anderson from Alabama is usually credited with the invention of the first operational version of which essential feature of a motor vehicle. Do you need more time? Does anyone need more time? Otherwise, I'll give you the answers. No one needing more time, so here are the answers. Question 1, that debate in the House of Lords, which mainly featured a contribution by the Earl of Stockton, previously known as Harold Macmillan, was in January 1985. So if you have between 1983 and 1987, then give yourself the mark. Number 2, before it became associated with Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady was in fact Golda Meir of Israel. Number 3, 1905, Georgi Gapon led that demonstration which ended up as Bloody Sunday in St. Petersburg that provoked the 1905 Russian Revolution. Failed revolution, but nonetheless it's still known as a revolution. Number 4, Mary Anderson from Alabama invented the first effective windscreen wiper. Number 5, the atomium is still there in Brussels. Number 6, Operation Thunderbolt, the rescuing of hostages from Entebbe Airport, was in Uganda. Number 7, Leni Riefenstahl was the woman who made propaganda films for the Nazis, notably the film of the 1934 Nuremberg rally called The Triumph of the Will. So she directed propaganda films. Number 8, there really could only be one answer to this. It's Edvard Munch's The Scream that was stolen on the same day as the Winter Olympics were opening. The Lateran Treaty of 1929 made the Vatican City independent. And number 10, Josip Broz was simply known as Tito, the president of Yugoslavia. So once again, if you could send Linda your scores, and then we'll have a wee pause while she enters the scores up and we can give you the totals with one round to go. And I'll go and refill my glass of water. So I'll now stop sharing my screen, and when Linda is ready, she can share hers. As the teachers used to say, just talk among yourselves for the moment. Or talk to us if you want.
clearly I've done this in a bit of a rush, so I hope it's right.
Please feel free
Leni
to.
Riefenstahl did the 1936 Olympics as well.
Indeed, she did. You're quite correct. Well, there are the scores so far. Move that out the way so I get the totals. 49 for the Airheads. That's amazing. 49 out of 50. 42 for Guildford. 41 for West of Erin. 38. 37. 34. 29. 28. Well, I'm pleased to say that one of my primary targets has been achieved, which is that everybody gets over half marks.
That all depends on the final round.
Well, so far, everyone's got over half marks. That's good.
If there's any mistakes, please just let me know by chat.
Yep.
Obviously, I will correct them.
That's good.
I'm going to double check myself just now.
And in the meantime, I shall reshare my screen and we'll move on to the final round on general knowledge. Right, the 9 Greek muses were the goddesses of the sciences and the arts. Of what science or art was Terpsichore the muse? The 9 Greek muses were the goddesses of the sciences and the arts. Of what was Terpsichore the muse? There is an English adjective, terpsichorean, which refers to it as well. Number 2. Which guitarist was left-handed but played a right-handed guitar upside down? Which guitarist was left-handed but played a right-handed guitar upside down? It's not difficult enough to play a guitar in the first place. Number 3. According to Microsoft, what do the letters XP stand for in the name of the computer operating system Windows XP? According to Microsoft, what do the letters XP stand for in the name of the computer operating system Windows XP? Number 4. Which of Jupiter's moons is the largest in the solar system and is larger than the planet Mercury? Which of Jupiter's moons is the largest in the solar system and is larger than the planet Mercury? Number 5. Though associated with New Zealand, what is the country of origin of the kiwi fruit? Number 5. Though associated with New Zealand, What is the country of origin of the kiwi fruit? Number 6. Which was the first state to join the Union in 1787 after ratifying the Articles of Confederation of the USA? The wee clue is there were 13 original states that took part in the Revolutionary War against Britain, so it's likely to be one of them. Which was the first state to join the Union in 1787 after ratifying the Articles of Confederation of the USA?
Sorry, Ian, could you repeat the question again?
Certainly. Which was the first state to join the Union in 1787 after ratifying the Articles of Confederation of the USA? To join the Union, each state had to ratify the articles separately, and then they were able to become part of the United States. Which was the first state to do that? Because they didn't all do it at the one time. Number 7. Published in 1947, which novel by a Nobel Prize-winning French author tells the story of an epidemic in the city of Oran in Algeria? Apparently there was a huge burst in sales for this novel at the beginning of the pandemic with COVID. Published in 1947, which novel by a Nobel Prize-winning French author tells the story of an epidemic in the city of Oran in Algeria? I'll take the answer either in English or in French. Number 8. The overall leader of the Tour de France wears a yellow jersey. What colour of jersey does the overall leader of the Giro d'Italia wear? That's the cycling equivalent, obviously, of the Tour de France in Italy. The overall leader of the Tour de France wears a yellow jersey. What colour of jersey does the overall leader of the Giro d'Italia wear? Number 9. At what times of day are crepuscular animals most active? At what times of day are crepuscular animals most active? And number 10, in which former British colony did the nationalist organisation AOCA operate between 1955 and 1959? Number 10, in which former British colony did the nationalist organisation AOCA operate between 1955 and 1959? Again, if you want to hear a question again or see a question again, let me know which one. Are we all ready, or do we need more time? Anyone want more time, or indeed want to hear a question again? I'll take it from the silence that we're ready for the answers. Number 1 then. The Greek muses, the goddesses of the science and the arts. Terpsichore was the goddess of dance. Number 2, the left-handed guitarist who played a right-handed guitar upside down was Jimi Hendrix. Number 3, according to Microsoft, these letters stand for experience. Well, some people who had difficulty with it in the early days might have thought it was explode, but it was, according to Microsoft, experience. Number 4, the moon of Jupiter, which is the largest in the solar system, is actually larger than Mercury, is Ganymede. Number 5, kiwi fruit originated in China. Number 6, the first state to join the Union was Delaware. Number 7, the Nobel Prize winning author, of course, it was Albert Camus, and his story was La Peste, or the Plague. Number 8, the overall leader of the Giro d'Italia wears a pink jersey. Number 9.
Ian, sometimes when you're saying the first couple of letters, your voice disappears. I don't know if you're turning your head or what. Can you repeat that last answer about the colour of the jersey?
Pink. The overall leader of the Tour de France wears a yellow jersey. The overall leader of the Giro d'Italia wears a pink jersey. Number 9, the times of day that crepuscular animals are most active is dawn and dusk, or early morning and evening. And number 10, AOCA, led by George Grivas, operated in Cyprus between 1955 and 1959. So again, if you could tot up your scores and send them to Linda, and then we'll find out what the final scores are.
Guildford are very pleased with themselves.
Are they?
Mhm.
Good.
Right.
Final scores being totted up now.
You can unmute yourselves and have a chat, you know.
Yeah, very welcome to unmute yourself and have a chat.
It's awfully hard when you've got two mouses sitting on your mouse mat.
Six is standard for this one.
Right, I think I have them.
Linda has the scores. So here they come. So 33, 34, 39 out of 60.
Someone has an echo going on.
We have fourth place, we have Kings Hill with 46. Second equal, Guildford and West of Eden with 50. The winners this month with 58 out of 60, a remarkable score. The Airheads, well done Airheads. And I'm pleased to say everybody did end up with more than half marks.
Well, thank you both very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Trying to see
Who's got the echo?
Yeah.
Difficult to tell. So I hope you all enjoyed the quiz. I tried to vary it a wee bit tonight again. And as I have said before, if there are any topics that you would like me to cover in future quizzes that I've not done so far, or even ones that you would like me to revisit, then please let me know. You can send us an email to Linda or to me, and I'll try to incorporate them in next month's quiz, which will, as usual, be the last Wednesday in September.
Which will be the 29th.
Which will be the 29th, yes.
I won't
The
be here.
29th.
26th, no, maybe 28th actually.
28th, okay. And you may have noticed that we're missing Causeway tonight, but they have told us that they will be back next month.
Right.
29th is the last.
Aye. How about around the periodic table, Ian? Eh?
No. Not after the fiasco we had in our local one.
Daisy, I think you do very well considering you're just two people. So
Yeah, likewise.
Oh yeah, well yeah, only two people. Yeah, absolutely. It's
The air team is only two people.
and we've got two teams who've got their best score ever. So there you go.
Oh, good.
It's sometimes better to compete against yourselves rather than everybody else, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best way to do it all the time. Compete against yourself.
But
so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the variety of questions.
Yep.
I tried to mix it up a wee bit and give you something, the odd question that was maybe something you might not have come across, but you're quite glad you know now. Like Monday Green.
Ian, what I would say is thank you for not having a music round, because we can never get the answers to your music round.
Well, you have to vary things.
Yeah,
In the local Interu3a Quiz